Hey 2Times fam, this your girl Mrs. Tony 2Times, and I hope this video finds you well. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I invite you to join the 2Times family. Tap that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notified of all uploads. Be sure to like this video if you're rocking with the content. Comment down below and share your thoughts. Of course, always keeping it respectful. Feel free to share this video. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. In this video, I will be sharing the story of an extremely ambitious young lady who lost her life way too soon. Let's get right into it. It's June 2020 in Hagerstown, Maryland. 17-year-old high school senior Dawson, aka Tuty, had big dreams to attend college after graduation and maybe one day become a lawyer. She loved making TikToks and her favorite rapper was Blueface. was described as an upbeat and positive person who liked hip-hop, dancing, and basketball. She was the life of the party everywhere she went. She was adored by her large family and was a family-oriented person. Not only was she family-oriented, she also played a big part in her community. Her mother said that was the light that kept the community bright. With her memorable walk and colorful hair, was said to be the kind of kid who sticks in people's memory. She was well known and loved at the Robert W. Johnson Community Center, where she attended as a child growing up in Hagerstown, where she was raised by her aunt from the time she was a baby. By the time was 17, she was a counselor at the community center, helping to lead programs like summer camps and other activities. According to the news reports, known to friends and family as Tuty, took an interest in her school, and she wasn't afraid to stand against what she thought was wrong, even if it meant going to the authorities. was frustrated with bullying at the alternative education school she attended. Went before the Washington County Board of Education on October 15, 2019, to tell them how she felt and that she didn't appreciate it. As a matter of fact, she accused board members of being bullies for not backing school officials trying to deal with mean kids. said during the public comment portion of the school board meeting, "You guys say bullying is zero tolerance, but I think you guys are being one of the biggest bullies of all in our school system." was truly a force to be reckoned with. She graduated in June 2020 and had her sights set on starting her college career at Hagerstown Community College. She also had a budding romantic relationship with 16-year-old Richard Cartnell, who she had been dating for several months. Life was just beginning for but suddenly, things took a terrible turn for the worse. On Saturday, June 27, 2020, around 5 p.m., a 19-year-old woman was walking along the trail known as the Cut in a forested area in Frederick, Maryland. As she walked by the creek, she discovered the body of a young lady with visible injuries. The passerby said her eyes first went to her face. The young woman said she screamed when she saw the body, but the person didn't flinch or run away. They weren't moving or anything. She called for help. Deputies responded and pronounced the young girl deceased upon arrival. Despite the news spreading like wildfire in the community, police had not yet released the identity of the victim to the public. Sadly, family and friends confirmed that a young girl who was found deceased was 17-year-old Tykeria Dawson. The day her body was found was the day before her 18th birthday. Her family and the community were absolutely devastated. Tykeria was so loved, her loss shook everyone. Instead of her family celebrating her 18th birthday, they now had to plan to lay her to rest. Her death was investigated as a homicide. Detectives believed she was targeted and it was not a random act. Interviews with relatives helped detectives identify Richard Cartnell as a suspect early on in the case. Tykeria's sister said Tykeria left their home in Hagerstown at approximately 11:45 p.m. on Friday, June 26th, taking an Uber to Richard Cartnell's house in Frederick, the documents state. That was the last time they saw her alive. Richard Cartnell was interviewed a short time later at his home. Detectives noted in charging documents that his home was about 2 miles from where Tykeria was found. They also had a second suspect, 14-year-old Kalia Labaugh, who was also allegedly dating Richard Cartnell. During police interrogation, Richard initially told detectives that he and Tykeria had a fight that caused her to leave his home for an unknown location. But he later admitted to shooting and killing Tykeria in the wooded area after detectives obtained Tykeria's cell phone location data and surveillance footage showing what appeared to be Richard walking with Tykeria, court documents state. According to Richard Cartnell's statement to police, he walked Tykeria to a location along the footpath where a .45 handgun had been stashed previously, and he used the weapon to shoot Tykeria at least twice before moving her body down closer to the creek. Richard then continued walking to a park where he met up with Kalia Labaugh and left the area, the documents state. When Kalia Labaugh was also interviewed by detectives, she told them she had also been at Richard Cartnell's home the night in question and had been given a backpack with a handgun and a change of clothes inside. She said she was told to take the backpack and its contents to the footpath to wait for Richard and Tykeria to arrive, records indicate. Kalia said she watched as Richard put his arm around Tykeria, then shot her and pushed her body toward the creek, according to documents. Just days after Tykeria's body was found, her boyfriend, 16-year-old Richard Cartnell, and 14-year-old Kalia Labaugh were arrested in connection to her death. They were both charged as adults with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Both Richard and Kalia were denied bail. The pair was later indicted by a grand jury and additional firearm charges were added. They both awaited trial scheduled for the following year. Richard's mother said she doesn't believe that her son would have killed Tykeria. She confirmed Richard and Tykeria's romantic relationship, saying they had been dating for several months. She said, quote, "That boy would never do that. He would try to protect her every time she runs into a crisis." She added she was now mourning not only her son, but for Tykeria. She went on to say, "I loved that little girl. I took her in my home. I even took her on vacation because she graduated." So it seemed like his mother also had a connection with Tykeria. In September 2021, Richard Cartnell recanted his confession to police about his involvement in the crime. His attorneys argued that their 16-year-old client was coerced by officials to confess. But after listening to testimony and reviewing evidence, the judge disagreed and denied the defense's motion to dismiss the statements made in the July 2020 interrogation by detectives. Cartnell's jury trial date was set for December 6, 2021. Eventually, Kalia Labaugh ended up striking a plea deal with the Frederick County State's Attorney's Office to testify truthfully in Richard Cartnell's trial in exchange for their office recommending her case to be moved to juvenile court. Kalia, who was 14 at the time of the shooting, had agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and possessing a regulated firearm, according to the attorneys in the case. When Richard Cartnell's trial began, the investigation revealed that Richard Cartnell had been texting Tykeria the night in question. They had been fighting for a long time. There was a 1:30 a.m. report of gunshots in the area where the body was ultimately found, court documents said. Investigators said texts from Richard Cartnell referenced a gun, and DNA evidence from the scene matched Richard's DNA. Kalia Labaugh testified in Richard Cartnell's trial on December 10th. She testified that Cartnell and Dawson had a fight on June 27, 2020. Prosecutors said he called Tykeria some choice words. They became aggressive, and he became aggressive toward Tykeria, according to prosecutors. Richard stated to Kalia that Tykeria needed to be taken out, according to her testimony. Prosecutors went on to say Richard said he was planning to shoot her, claiming Tykeria lied and she was pregnant. Richard Cartnell was found guilty of the charges against him on December 15, 2021. When he was convicted, reports say that Richard Cartnell went off and struggled with authorities when he was being led out of the courtroom. The atmosphere that day, I'm sure, was tense in and outside of the courtroom. For Tykeria's family and loved ones, the guilty verdict wasn't really justice for them, they said. Mainly because Richard Cartnell and Kalia Labaugh are still breathing while their beloved Tykeria is gone. At the time of this recording, Richard Cartnell is still awaiting sentencing. He faces up to life in prison. I'm thinking since the younger co-defendant Kalia's case will be moved to juvenile court, she may be released by the time she's 21 years old if she serves any time. However, she has to live with what she's done for the rest of her life. Hopefully, she makes better choices and learns from her involvement in such a heinous crime. After Tykeria's death, friends and family members set up a fund in her memory known as Tutie's Token. It is meant to meet the educational, physical, and emotional needs of the students at the school she attended and graduated from. Rest in peace to beautiful Tykeria Tuty Dawson. She was the light of the community and her family. For her short time here on earth, she had a huge and profound impact in the lives of those she came in contact with. The community on Jonathan Street in Hagerstown, Maryland will never forget her. The community center where Tykeria served set up a safe haven for young members of the community to have a comforting place to deal with their loss. Tykeria had a voice, and it was going to be heard. May her loving memory live on in the hearts and minds of those who cherished and loved her. Alright fam, feel free to share your thoughts and prayers down in the comments below. This was a very tragic story, and I hope the family can find some closure and peace during this trying time. Please feel free to like this video if you're rocking with the content. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you can be notified of new uploads. Thank you all so much for watching. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm out.